All right, hold on to your butts. Here it is. Subway Series time is upon us once again, and we all have to hold hold steady and just pray that the Mets can take this one out because it's gonna be ugly, pretty ugly. Let's get into it. Roll the music.
Orange and blue running through our veins, rooting for the Mets through incidents and pains. It's a Mets podcast hosted by Michael Bayside. His views and ideas are fortified. Mets news, saves, injuries, and wins. We can't wait for the next game to begin. This is the theme song to Mike's Mets podcast. This is the theme song to Mike's Mets podcast.
Welcome to Mike's Mets podcast. I'm your host Mike Pashota. All right, settle in, grab a cold one. Let's talk some baseball because the Subway Series is here. We are talking the Mets versus the Yankees, kicking off July 4th weekend. So 4th to the 6th, it will be Mets and Yankees all weekend long. And trust me, there will be fireworks, both literally and figuratively. This is going to be a huge series. 3-game set, all going down at Citi Field, which means it is home cooking and a home crowd that is going to be jacked. I'm very excited to see how the Met faithful are going to represent and show the Yankees fans that they are not the only ones who can make make their home field advantage really feel like something. There has to be that home field advantage, and the Mets have one definitely. There is no mistaking that the Mets have a significant home field advantage this season. They really do their best home cooking, and they're ready to give the Yankees a proper welcome. And so let's get into it. So here's the schedule. Mark it down. Game 1 tonight, or rather this afternoon, 3:10 p.m. Eastern Time, kicking off the holiday the right way. Game 2 tomorrow. Again, it's an interesting schedule that we have for this series. So these are all going to occur during the daytime. So Saturday, July 5th, 4:10 p.m. If you're doing any kind of post-barbecue, maybe you can tune into that. Have a nice little Saturday, I don't know, evening to afternoon for yourself. And then game 3, rubber match, July 6th, 1:40 p.m. And exciting to see. This is going to be a great series. I'm really looking forward to it. I missed the last one, which was a real bummer. I was in England on vacation at the time with my friend, and this was something I was looking forward to, and I didn't even get to didn't get to experience any of it. So because of the time difference, so I was kind of bummed, but I'm looking forward to watching this one live. Not live, but watching on TV or every game and tuning in. So very excited. So if you're a Met fan, you're going to want to look away for a second. So historically, the Yankees have owned this rivalry. They owned it this season already. Took 2 out of 3 from the Mets before, and they hold an all-time 82-67 record against the Mets. 550 winning percentage for the Bronx Bombers. Ouch. It doesn't feel good, but, and this is a big but for the Mets, they've been rock solid at home this year. Not just rock solid, they are sporting a ridiculous 31-13 record at Citi Field, and that's just not good. That's we dare you to come into our house kind of good. The Yankees, on the other hand, are very ho-hum on the road, 22-22. So the Yankees have the historical bragging rights, of course, but with the Met home crowd, that Queens energy that only the Citi Field faithful have, it can be a real difference maker, and potentially evening out some of the Mets' current weaknesses, which are significant. The Mets are not coming off a great stretch, but guess what? Neither the Yankees. And the Mets maybe are turning a corner, so they were going to roll into the series at a very respectable, very good, let's say like they're still doing well even after all their struggles. 15-38. They're sitting just a game and a half back of the Phillies in the NL East. Phillies have not taken advantage at all of the division of the recent struggles of the Mets, and with the Mets just taking 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers. Very crucial, their first winning series in close to a month now. It was a really, really terrible stretch for the Mets, but that 31-13 home record, that is their superpower. That is the thing that they can always hang their hat on and say, maybe these guys can just pull one out just on the strength of their home record. And let's be real, they just went through, as I said, a brutal stretch. They lost 14 of their last 17 games. That's in the realm of like tanking, and they're not tanking. That's the incredible thing. This is a team that was in first place, and they just went on a absolutely terrible stretch. 3-14. It's not the way you want to go over 20 games. That's just absolutely terrible. 17 games. That's terrible. But credit where credit's due. They just took that 2 out of 3 from the Brewers, as I said. Tight 3-2 win from them yesterday, which was, I thought, very representative of the entire season, which was strong starting pitching, holding it down, and then just a few key hits, including a solo home run from Brandon Nimmo, and key RBIs from Juan Soto and Pete Alonso. And that's really all it took, because David Peterson was able to kind of hold the line. The Mets bullpen was able to hold the line against a good Brewers team. The Brewers are not bad this year, and they should be in the NL wildcard picture for the remaining and the NL Central for the remainder of the season. But over their last 10 games, the bats for the Mets have actually woken up a little bit. They're batting .241 with 8 hits, close to 6 runs per game. That's an improvement. So definitely a sign of, okay, they're starting to find their way out of it. The problem that's a giant flashing neon sign is, and that flashing sign says trouble. Their pitching has been a disaster. So while the offense has been improving, the pitching has not been improving. And despite the Peterson performance, they have a 6.28 ERA over their last 10 games. That's giving up 14 home runs. I mean, that's not the way you want to play right now. If you're the New York Mets, that's a giant kick me sign on your back right now. The pitching staff has just been a complete disaster, and as good as they were for the first 2 months of the season, since mid-June, that has been a really rough stretch for them. And injuries have played their part, no doubt about it, but even when they haven't been playing their part, the guys who are healthy are not pitching as well as they should be. And the guys in the bullpen are definitely overworked. It hasn't been good. It's not great. It's great for entertainment, obviously, but not so great for your blood pressure if you're a Met fan. So against a powerful Yankees lineup, these games could easily become football scores. There's really no way to know how this entire series is going to play out, other than to say that it's probably going to be very high scoring. So the Yankees are slumping, still dangerous, but slumping. 48-39. They just got swept by the Toronto Blue Jays, which is going to feel like a real kick in the nuts for Yankees fans. They're in a funk. They are not playing well, not dissimilar to the Mets, and you have to kind of like expect that this is going to be two teams that are struggling right now, but they're going to take it out on each other. And before that, the Yankees got taken down by the Red Sox. They're 10-16 against their own division this year, which is not good. Very, very not Yankee-like. And the offense has cooled off. With the exception of Aaron Judge, the guys that you were kind of expecting to be the big bats in the lineup, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger, and Jazz Chisholm, those are really the three the big bats behind him. And then you have like Trent Grisham and Ben Rice. But the Yankees are a team that's very much built around one guy. So if they are able to isolate Aaron Judge, there's really no telling how the Yankees are going to perform this series. And the kicker is that they are still, even with their struggles recently, they still rank 5th in the Major League Baseball in runs scored and 2nd in homers overall. So their team batting average is .254. It's good for 8th in the MLB rankings. So while they're slumping right now, they still have a lot of talent. Again, it's all built around Aaron Judge, but this is a team that you don't want to poke a bear. You don't want to poke a wounded bear, especially. And if you poke them too much, they're going to kind of erupt. And I don't want that to happen. It's going to be really interesting. The pitching matchups are going to be fascinating this whole series. So game one, you have 2 wild cards here. So you have Justin Hageman, who's been announced to be the game 1 starter for the Mets, making his first career MLB start. Not the way you really want to start off your Major League career, your starting pitching career. So Hageman, there's really no telling how long Hageman's going to last in the start. he's getting a real baptism by fire. He's been good in limited relief appearances, but this is a whole different animal. You're asking him to start what's going to be a adrenaline fueled start against a bitter division rival in front of a jacked up home crowd. It's going to be a mess, I'm sure. Now, there's no telling how this might play out. I remember Jacob deGrom making his major league debut, and Justin Hagman, not Jacob deGrom, but deGrom, it was a similar thing where they just kind of like put deGrom in there, and they were like, let's see how this goes. And he had the pitch against the Yankees. It was again a very highly emotional crowd, and in Yankee Stadium, and deGrom pitched brilliantly, which was kind of set the tone for his entire major league career. So here's hoping Hagman can at least make it a solid start. At least he's not getting destroyed today, but we'll see. To his benefit, the guy he's facing is Marcus Stroman, and Marcus Stroman has been god awful terrible this season. In his limited appearances, all of his starts, he's getting absolutely destroyed. Has an 8.16 ERA. That's an ERA usually seen in like spring training. He's struggling to go deep in the game. He's averaging about like 3 innings a start, and his last start was better. His overall body of work is still extremely questionable. Juan Soto and Pete Alonso have feasted on Stroman in the past. They do really well against him. This could be an absolute slugfest. Basically, first 1 to 10 runs might score in this one. So it's going to be an ugly game 1. I have no doubt about that. So we'll see how bad it actually turns out, and if the Mets, who at least have more than 1 star, the Yankees do not have more than 1 star. The Yankees are built around Aaron Judge. So if Pete Alonso isn't working, then the Mets still have Juan Soto, and they still have Francisco Lindor. If Juan Soto is not working, then they have Alonso Lindor. They have 3 stars. The Yankees have 1. So their 1 star might be worth 3 stars, but there's still something to be said about quantity over quality. And game 2, we're going to have the. This really sucks for the Mets in terms of their pitching matchups. So we have Frankie Montas going up against Carlos Rodon. Montas making his 3rd start back from the last drain. First start was pretty good. Second start was extremely ugly against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates were looking like the 27 Yankees against Montas. They were just teeing off on him repeatedly, and he had nothing good going in that game. And the early turns have not been pretty for Montas, just in terms of his velocity, which is like solid, but like he was leaving everything over the plate, and the freaking Pirates were just teeing off on him. It was ugly. Carlos Rodon has been excellent this year, which I'm sure for Yankees fans is very like better late than never. So he's 9.5, 2.95 ERA, 123 strikeouts this season, having a big year for them, and especially with the Garrett Cole injury, it looked like it's going to be a disaster lost season for the Yankees. Rodon's kind of kept them alive in it. So this is a massive mismatch on paper. And the Yankees are going to feel good about this game, and the Mets are going to need like an offensive miracle to sort of turn this one around, or Frankie Montas turns in a vintage performance. And I like Montas. I just haven't seen enough from him this year to feel any kind of confident in what he's going to bring in this game, and we'll see. And then game 3, we'll start with the Yankees. It's Max Fried, the ace of the staff. He's been an absolute machine this year, and this is nothing new. The Mets have seen Max Fried for years. He's an absolute machine, elite command, doesn't give up home runs. He's very tough to barrel up, one of the best pitchers in baseball. No denying that. This is going to be ugly because the Mets don't even have a starter announced yet for this one, because of all the injuries that they've had to the staff. Paul Blackburn out now, also joining Tyler McGill and Griffin Canning and Kodai Senga. So we are left with the bare bones pitching staff. So either someone's going to get called up in an emergency start, or this is most likely going to be another bullpen game for the Mets. And for a team that's already feeling a very overworked bullpen, it's not a great sign that you're going to be going with a relief bullpen game against one of the best pitchers in baseball. So not advantageous to the Mets, and so the advantage in 2 of the 3 pitching matchups goes to the Yankees, and the third one is actually just like a complete toss-up. I don't know how game 1's going to go at all. So pitching not in great shape for the Mets right now, and incredibly with the Yankees pitching staff has not been that great either this year. Like outside of Rodon and Fried, they haven't been getting anything from anybody, and they just lost one of their few contributing members to the starting pitching staff outside of those two guys, Clark Schmidt. He just went down with a forearm injury that might turn out to be more serious than than initially thought. So there's really no telling how this is all going to go. Big bats are ready to explode, though. We have both teams have guys who can change a game with one swing. We've already talked about one ad nauseum already with Aaron Judge, but let's talk about Juan Soto. He was just named National League Player of the Month. Came up key RBI that broke up the tie last night with a RBI single. Nice to see Juan coming through in clutch situations. On the season, batting 260, 396 OPS, 500 slugging, 896 OPS for the year, 20 home runs, 48 RBIs. The numbers look great for Juan, and he's the way he kind of turned it around in June was just a great sight for sore eyes. I mean, everybody was kind of like holding their breath, waiting for it to happen, and we would see like bits and pieces of it starting to come. But he really blew up in June and was basically the lone offensive presence for the team during their terrible stretch. So it was very, very big for him. Pete Alonso still chugging along, 18 home runs, 67 RBIs. The power has definitely dipped. Fortunately, he does have good isolated power numbers against lefties, which is going to be very key because he's facing two top-tier left-handed pitchers in this series, and Rodon and Fried. Loves hitting against Stroman, so I'm anticipating a huge series for Pete, and they're going to need him. And particularly with the jacked-up home crowd, as I said before, it's going to be important for Pete to kind of be the polar bear. They don't need him to be Pete Alonso. They need him to be the polar bear. They need him to be the guy who's hitting home runs, driving in runners, and just being the effective slugger that he's been for most of the season. He just hasn't been trending in the right direction as of late. Speaking of trending not in the right direction, Francisco Lindor, the numbers are still great. I'm very happy that Lindor made the All-Star team, voted in, very deserving because he's having what is a good year, what was a great year previously before June started, and then he has just been an absolute tailspin, and it was very necessary for Carlos Mendoza to juggle the lineup, not dissimilar to how he did last year when he moved Lindor into the leadoff role. It was very important to remove Lindor out of the leadoff role because he was not getting on base at all. He wasn't doing anything offensively for the team out of that leadoff spot, and moving him into the number 2 hole, at least for now, very important. So it was good to see for him. We'll see how it continues to play out. If Lindor can have a good series, then this will be very big for the Mets. Then we have Brandon Nimmo, just homered against the Brewers last game, a grand slam the game before that. The great power numbers. He's just it's the evolution of Nimmo has been interesting because he went from this guy who was just an on-base machine, guy who could come up with key base hits, was a guy you would consistently expect to be batting around 270, 280, with a 400 on-base percentage and some decent power numbers. He's kind of just moved away from all of that, and now he's just a guy who's like, hey, I'm just going to be swinging for the fences most of the time. He doesn't really get on base at the same clip they used to. He doesn't hit at the same clip that they used to, and he's just kind of fallen into this role of being the a middle-of-the-order slugger, which is interesting. I never really anticipated it being that of Nimmo, but he at least does, come up with good power. The power numbers are good for Nimmo, and he comes up with key RBIs, so I'll say that for him. But it's just interesting. And then Jeff McNeil, the last key hitter. McNeil also hitting well against lefties this year, and I've said it before. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Jeff McNeil. This is the best I've felt about McNeil in a long time, since probably 2022. Just in terms of the way that his approach at the play has been terrific. He's looked really, really great against pitchers, and just in terms of his approach, and he has been, not amazing. Like, he's never going to be batting title, Jeff McNeil again, probably, but in terms of his ability to come up with key extra base hits, and the power has been great to see from McNeil. It's important. The lineup does drop off very quickly after that, especially against lefties. So Alonso and Nimmo are the major exceptions. They can still hit bombs. But Rodon and Fried are going to be tough pitchers, so they cannot afford to make mistakes to those two. They have to really come through in those situations and see how well they hit. And again, the Yankees just coming through. They have, as I said, Judge, Goldschmidt, Trent Grisham, Cody Bellinger, Jazz Chisholm. There are players here, but they are very much built around one player. So isolate Judge is going to be the name of the game, and Judge is getting walked at a insane clip. I think 21 intentional walks on the season. Everybody's terrified of him. He looks like Barry Bonds in 2002. I mean, this is crazy. Like nobody wants to face him at all. How you defeat Judge is basically you have to wait for him to make the first mistake, and his anticipation is going to be key because he's going to want to have a big series, and he knows his team's going to be counting on him to come through. So if you can get him swinging at the pitches that he cannot hit, which is off speed and away, it's going to be big for them. So keep that in mind. Offense runs through Judge, but if you can contain him, you have a chance still. Goldschmidt and Bellinger are somewhat scary. Same thing for Grisham and Chisholm. But you can't just pitch around Judge and expect to win. But if they are able to contain Judge even a little bit, it'll go a big way for them. Especially if the Mets pitching can at least hold it down a little bit, and the Mets offense has to come up big. This is a big game for the Mets. Pitching injuries still the name of the game here. There's a big blinking red light for the Mets. Their pitching staff is absolutely decimated. As I said, no Kodai Senga. Daniel Nunez on the IL. It looks like maybe for the year now. This guy can't stay healthy at all. Paul Blackburn out. Sean Manaea still not back yet. Tyler McGill out. There's a lot of significant arms on the IL. Griffin Canning out for the year. So that's why you see Hageman making his debut, and Montas still finding his footing, coming up to pitch a key number 2, and then you have a TBD on Sunday. We still know who's going to be pitching that game. So there's a direct result of this injury crisis. It means their bullpen is going to be asked to do a lot of heavy lifting, which can lead to more fatigue, more blow-ups. This is a potent Yankee offense that's going to be licking its chops at this. It's going to be it could be a complete disaster for the Mets if they are not looking right. So the bottom line is basically the series is going to boil down to a few things. It's can the Mets offense continue its recent surge and overcome their significant pitching deficiencies? Can their home field advantage at Citi Field truly make a difference against a slumping but still powerful Yankees team? Will the Yankees offense that's led by Judge break out of its slump and capitalize on the Mets' current pitching woes? And then finally, can the Yankees' aces, Rodon and Fried, shut down the Mets in games 2 and 3? So expect some wild moments here. There's going to be some clutch hits, probably more than a few home runs that are going to be hit in this one. This isn't just about 2 games playing baseball. It is about bragging rights in New York City. Who wants it more? We're about to find out. And I don't know how this is going to go. This could go one of 2 ways. It's just going to be either a complete disaster or a triumph for the Mets. The advantage is not for them in games 2 and 3. If they can take game 1, I'll be very happy if they can take game 1 at least in this one. And if you're expecting anything more than that, I don't have a ton of optimism for the series. And we're just basically banking on momentum at this point, which is that the Yankees are coming off a really bad series, and at least the Mets are coming off a pretty good series for them. So if you're holding out hope for anything, hold out hope for the fact that the Mets at least have that going for them. But other than that, this is going to be a tough one to watch. But I'm still very excited for it. I want to watch the Mets win at least one of these games, and if they can come through at least 2 out of 3, I'm going to be thrilled because that's going to feel like it'll feel like an amazing thing to take that from the Yankees. I just can't wait for this to see what happens and see if this team has the mental fortitude really to take what's going to be a critical series. These are not just exhibitions, really. This is a matter of maintaining your hold on second place in the NL East right now, and trying to maintain your momentum and see if you can keep anything going. Really, at this point, it's going to be big. So, can't wait to watch more of this and see how it goes. And it's all kind of like cross our fingers and pray to see how the Mets actually perform in this one. So, good luck to the Mets. Can't wait to watch the game 1 today and all these games all weekend long. It's going to be a blast, and just gear your loins and hold on for dear life because this is going to be a bumpy ride. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for listening to Mike's METS podcast. If you haven't already, please follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a like and a comment, it helps so much. Finally, please follow our Twitter and Blue Sky pages. You can find us at Twitter at Mike's METS Pod, all one word, and on Blue Sky at Mike's METS Podcast.bsky.social. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day or evening, and let's go Mets.